All right, so you signed up. This is a video for you to show you kind of how things work. So you signed up through my Patreon. You found that already. And when you sign up through Patreon, I get a notification. And when I get a notification, assuming I'm awake and not at work, I will immediately go and give you access to my main sheet. With viewer access to my main sheet, you can look through projections for the coming game week. You can look through projections for daily games. I tweak scoring systems each day to match the daily hoops parameters. Daily pickup, of course, runs off of a 120 plus MVP. All that information can be found in my main sheet. I will also send you an invite to our Sorare Edge Discord. The Discord has helpful videos, has a community of international users, and also has optimal lineups that I update throughout the day for daily hoops, for daily pickup, and for the upcoming game week. And lastly, you will get a gallery organizer file. And these gallery organizer files are now powered by Sorare's API. We can download your gallery directly from Sorare, put it in spreadsheet form. You'll get editor access to this spreadsheet. You can sort it, you can use our optimizer to make your best lineups using your gallery, and you can update this file as often as you like directly from Sorare to make sure your XP and your gallery contents are up to date. Let's dig into how all this works. I will see that you signed up. I will send you a message just like this one that gives you access to the Google Sheet, my main NBA sheet, gives you a link to join our member-only Discord, and also asks you for your Sorare slug or your username so that I can get you a personalized API file. First things first, the main sheet. So the main sheet looks like this. It has a lot of different little tabs at the bottom. The three that you'll probably use the most here are just the daily pickup, the daily, and the game week projection tab, these first three. And daily hoops has different scoring systems a lot of times, so I will adjust our game log data to make projections based on that particular scoring system. So the standard deviations change, the average points per minute change. All that makes a different projection, and you'll be able to see who the best plays are for that particular scoring system. I'll also send you a link to our Discord. And in the Discord, we have just like a general chat. I have an audit my lineup. You can submit your lineups. I can tell you if I think anybody is going to be out. My Sheet Help Videos tab is really important. It's good to check this out just to get an idea how to use the product. This is a channel where we can post our wins. You can see some of us have had some nice success in here over the last couple of months. Cap droppers, and this will be where I just try to identify who good upcoming plays are going to be. I'll show you also where you can see that in the main sheet. If we look at the game week projection tab in the main sheet, we scroll all the way over, you can see upcoming L10 and then the change. So this is their current L10 in column N. Upcoming in column V will tell you what it's going to be after a lock this coming game week. And then this L10 change will show you whether the player is going up or down. For example, Quentin Grimes going from an 18, he'll be a 25 after lock. Find a dropper for you. Okay, so we have Devin Vassell. He's a 31. He's going all the way down to 25, so he'll be somebody you'll probably want to look at pretty soon. Good way to find some values ahead of time. And then we come to our optimal. So I have an NBA optimal lineups. This is for champion, contender, underdog in that order, and I'll put these up a couple times a day on lock days and once in the morning, usually on non-lock days. Daily hoops shows you our optimal daily hoops lineup multiple times a day. Daily pickup, same thing, multiple times each day. Important links just has some good places to find information. Links to our main sheet, of course. Competition results shows you where certain scores have fallen throughout the season. And then our Sweat It Out tab is basically if you have a lineup, it's the final day and you're trying to win, put your sweats up here so we can root for each other. And that brings me to the API organizer. So I do have this permissions video. This is in the Sheet Help Videos tab. But I'll share this with you when you sign up so you can watch this quick. It's like a minute long, just shows you how to get through those. Now mine has extra tabs that you won't necessarily need, but the basics of it are we find your Sorare username or your slug, and then we're able to update. We just pull your gallery. So it's a process. Let's say this is blank. This is our tab where it will end up. So when we say get gallery, it runs a script. It brings in our gallery right from the Sorare site with our XP bonuses, whether this card is in season or not, position. You see that all converts to the way we want it, what the rarity is. And then once we have that imported, we can update current game week. So when you update current game week, it'll run the script again. It's going to clear all this out. And then it's going to put the new information that it just downloaded directly from Sorare into this page, and it'll populate it with my projections. And there it is. As you can see, it's a bit of a jumbled mess. I still have some old information in this used category. I want to get rid of that. In order to do that, I'm going to highlight the whole category. We're going to hold the Command or Control button and just undo these first two slots here under M, and then we'll just hit delete and get rid of all that. And this is kind of jumbled together. So we have limiteds with commons. We obviously don't want that. So the first thing you're going to do here is you're going to sort this. In order to sort it all, you need to click this little box between the A and the 1. And when you do that, that highlights the whole sheet. That's so everything moves together when you sort. And then we're going to do a sort range because we're doing multiple sorts at the same time. And we need advanced for that. And so column A, we want the scarcities divided. That's the main thing. So we're going to go Z to A on column A. Then we want the in-seasons divided from the classics. And we want the in-seasons first because when we build our lineups, normally we're building the in-season lineups first if we can. And so those will come up first in the list. And then I'm going to sort by current game week projection. That's I. And also Z to A because I want the bigger numbers at the top. So this is what it's going to look like. So I've got a couple in-season limiteds. If I scroll down, I'll see my classic limiteds down here. And if I scroll further down the page, you're going to see all your commons come up. And so let's say we wanted to build a lineup. When you do this the first time, you're going to have to do the permissions. I have a video made about permissions. I will share that with you so you know how to navigate through that. But once you've done it once, you won't have to do it again. First, we want to handle injuries. I heard Michael Porter Jr. is practicing. He is still questionable. If I wanted to exclude him from my lineups, I would just click over here, put an injury illness tag in his used column. For players who have zeros for current game week projections, you really don't have to do that because they're not going to show up anyway. Ty Jerome, Miles McBride, both questionable. Let's go ahead and throw the injury illness tab for them. And that's it for limited. So let's do a pre-filter. So the pre-filter, under optimized pre-filter, will pull up a box for you. You want to click all of these. There's almost no circumstance where you will not click all three of those. You get to change your scarcity. So if you had rares or super rares or uniques, when you did your sort, those would come up in order. I only have limited, so we'll just do limiteds here. I'm going to go ahead and apply the filters. And you're going to see eligibles pop up next to eligible players. Players with 0 will not come up. And players that don't have an L10 won't come up. There we go. If you have 2 of the same player, only 1 will come up because obviously you can't put 2 of the same player in the same lineup. So for example, I have 2 Nick Smiths, only the first one comes up. If I roll down here, I can see that my classics have also been added. The optimizer takes into account that an in-season lineup can only have 1 classic card in it. So let's go ahead and build one. I don't have an MVP really. My best projection would be Garland. 51's not really high enough to play in a champ lineup, so I'd probably do contender. If I did want to run a champ lineup, though, I would find my highest current game week projection, go over here to column N where it says eligible, and just overwrite it with the word mandatory. Now what this does is it forces that player into your lineup. For contender and underdog, you don't need to do this, but for champ lineups, in order for it to run effectively and quickly, you want to find your highest projected player and make that player mandatory. It's just less combinations for the formula to have to run through. It takes a lot less time. Instead of a couple minutes, it's a couple seconds. Once I have that done, I'm going to try a champ lineup here. I would never use this because it's not going to be good enough. But let's say we wanted to run an in-season champ. We'd tell it to optimize. Wait a couple seconds. And it's going to tell us when it's done. We close that window and we go to suggested lineups. And you can see it's put Garland here as my mandatory. You'll see that in yellow. And then under him, it has filled the lineup as best it can with what I have available, which isn't much. But let's say we wanted to run, I'll put him back to eligible, and we'll try a contender. And with this, you can try different combinations. You can try a contender in season. You can try a contender classics to see how many points difference you get. So 185.73. Filled out the 120. It's got 119 here. What if we wanted an underdog? And it was a classic. Let that go. Check our suggested lineups. 143.5 with a 74 cap. You can kind of get a feel for how this works. Let's say I played this lineup. So it suggested Nick Smith, Anthony Black, Watford, Bowl, and Harris. I'd go back to my current game week tab. I'd find Nick Smith. This was a classic underdog, so we're just going to put him at classic underdog. Watford was in there. Bowl was in there. And then two classics, the Anthony Black and the Gary Harris. Okay, so what does this do? What does putting something in this used column do? When you run the pre-filter a second time, you'll see it take the eligibility away from anything that has something marked in this column. Again, you're clicking them all, and then when this gets done, you'll see these eligibles here next to the ones I just marked go away. Just like that. So now when you would run another optimal here, say I wanted to run another classic underdog, it will not be able to use any of those cards that I have already used in a different lineup. Closed again. And it has Nick Smith because I have a second Nick Smith, but none of the other ones. So now it's come up with a different lineup. Nick Richards, Nick Smith, Bogdan, Barlow, and Monte Morris. And obviously the better gallery you have, the better lineups you're going to put out. This isn't really even a playable lineup. We actually have a link in the Discord in the important links tab to competition results. And the competition results show you the median and the average score for each kind of competition in each scarcity, where you kind of need to hit. Most of you play limited. If you want to hit the money, what do you need in underdog, classic, or in season? This will tell you. Kind of shoot for those numbers, get around the average. You at least have a shot. Obviously, if you can get your optimals up to close to first place, I think you got a real shot. Anyway, that's a basic overview. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm around, available for questions and IT help when necessary. Don't be afraid to jump in here. It's been fun. We've had some nice wins this year. Appreciate the support.
Want to dominate? Unleash the power of Sorare Edge. Optimize, strategize, win, win, win. Patreon link in the description.